Okay, now discussing positive and negative tattoos, do you think right now, 2014, the industry is ready for a tattoo character with, the positive magics, or that's just generally a role model? Or do you think you still have to sneak it in there as, the more negative connotations?
I would think it would depend on the audience you're going after. I don't see any reason why not, why you wouldn't have a superhero who has good tattoos. But again, you would probably make sure those good tattoos weren't red and black in combination. Because we've sort of, as a society, we've been influenced over the years by the work of the past to suspect or expect that certain things, you signal that it's evil if you put black as in death and red as in fire or blood together. But if you had tattoos that were gold and silver or sky blue or serene green, what if you had a green ecological superhero with green tattoos? And what if those tattoos renewed themselves with the cycle of nature and with sunlight after the stuff was cast out of them? If you cast it in that way or presented it in that way to the public, there's nothing that says that it's inherently evil. So I think they're ready, but you have to be ready to tell a story that uses them in a good way.
So basically we have to be careful about the types of tattoos that we portray for marketability reasons in more conservative markets. Is that what?
Oh, sure. And the subject matter of the tattoo. If you have a skull and crossbones, or a skull with a lightning bolt going through one of the sockets, or a skull with fangs dripping blood, that's sort of saying, hey, guess what? Evil. If you have a tattoo that has bared portions of the female anatomy, he said delicately, you might be immediately trading away the concerned parents part of the market that you're trying to reach. You see what I mean? It's all in what's appropriate. In the same way that if you want to create an impression in a job interview and you dress in a conservative business suit, it's different than if you go to a lingerie shop and find the most racy thing you can think of and just wear that instead. It's depending on what the job interview is, but you're creating a different attitude, a different expectation. And same way with tattoos, I'd say.
Yeah, we're horribly spoiled at Geek Inc. because all of the girls at our offices, they do what they want when they want, and they're alternative and they're out there and they're awesome, and I love them to bits. And in Montreal, very cosmopolitan city, we can get away with the incredibly alternative tattoos, and societal wise, it's viewed as perfectly fine. But if we're marketing our literature and or comics to a more conservative, maybe southern U.S. market, then the author wants to make sure that it'll be accepted down there. And in that, what you're saying, we have to not go for the black, not go for the demon flames, and portray it in a different light.
It's the difference between a movie in which we signal to the viewer, hey, this is fantasy, this isn't real life, this doesn't happen this way in real life, and you could conceivably have a character. For instance, remember those little machines with the chromed metal balls that ricocheted off each other, the pendulation.
The constant movement one.
Yeah, was one of the trade names, but there were many others. Well, those were sold as executive toys 20 years ago. You'd have them on your desk, click, click, click. I have seen people at conventions with piercings to their upper half of their anatomy that had the little balls hanging off them that would click back and forth. And I've even seen one of them who used to hold a magnet down here and set them swaying. But that was in a specialized setting in which you're signaling, hey, we're having fun, we're play acting here, this is cosplay, costume play, this is not what I would wear to the office at my regular job when this convention is over. So I mean, it's the context and what we want to do. There's nothing wrong with that, that's fun. But it might not be the right thing to wear if you're trying to get an international client for your company.
Yeah, and as geek culture gets more and more mainstream, thanks to all of the, the popular Marvel movies and stuff, I mean, we really have to, look at what's going on, and if we want to expand that geeky market, we're in a brave new world. I know that originally D&D got some bad press because of some unfortunate incidents where people took their gaming too far. And ever since then, as gamers, we've been trying to show people that, it's a fun, positive experience and not this creepy, negative, psychotic thing, that you play in your basement and you're going to go murder everybody. Mm-hmm. That's totally not what it's about. And most geeks are, the kindest, gentlest people you're ever going to find. So public perception guys.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. If you're ahead of where popular culture is comfortable with, yes, you're seen as edgy and cool, or neat or keen. Pick the word changes with each generation. You want to get rid of the generation before its word and put their word in. But at the same time, the essence of being edgy, neat, keen, and cool is upsetting your parents, the previous generation. So you might not want to be on the cutting edge or the bleeding edge, as they call it. You might want to wait and just time it just right so it's okay to do it in a car commercial. And then, therefore, it's okay in popular culture. And I would argue that when it comes to tattoos, we've seen a huge shift between the 60s and the 50s. And I was born in the last year of the 50s, so, and where, if you have a tattoo, you're a biker. Or maybe you're part of some weird cult. Down to, I now see young girls, as in high school age girls, with tasteful tattoos, tiny and done small and done where everybody can see them all the time, like anklet tattoos or whatever, or under their ears or whatever, and it is, nobody bats an eyelash.
I think especially in the last 10 years, the acceptability of the tattoos has come so far. Mm-hmm. It's 10 times more acceptable than it was just 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now, everybody's doing it, even some big companies, you can get a job if you have tattoos.
Just to give an example of how much has changed, I can recall the first time I saw a poster for Biff Naked, the Canadian performing artist. And the first time the poster, and this is on Yonge Street, and I'm watching middle-aged people who work in the office towers walking past to get a coffee and then go home, and they look at the poster and look away because they're automatically going, weird, hard rock, crazy woman. I'm not looking. I'm not interested. And go forward 15, 20 years, and there's Biff Naked on TV being interviewed about something, probably about the cancer-related thing, and they lean forward to look at her tattoos because they're so gorgeous. And of course, they cover so much of her when she leaves her arms bared because of the way she's dressed, and she's being interviewed about something. Instead of going, look away, I don't want any part of it.
She went from pariah to role model.
Okay, to role model with one generation, but to their parents' generation, from ick, I don't want to look at that, to, that's art. I'm interested in seeing that. I may not admit that to my friends, but in the privacy of my own living room, I'm leaning forward to look at the TV because what I see intrigues me.
Yeah.
So instead of dismissing it, stay away from that, it's like, that looks interesting. And that is a huge societal shift from that same generation, not the younger one, in a short time.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great thing because although there's a part of me that, personally for me, I think, too many tattoos, I can't concentrate on the beautiful work of art. It's a huge mosaic, but I want to concentrate on one or two things. That's a personal preference. Other people, they go, wow, look at that. Gorgeous, everything's colored. How does it segue into the next image? How did you work them together? And it's just a personal taste thing. Is it an overall tapestry? Is the body an entire tapestry? Or do I want to see one or two things tastefully arrayed? Like in the jewelry store, the acre of white velvet and one or two things displayed.
Okay, well, Ed, that was really cool talking with you.
Hey, a pleasure.
I'm going to have to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah.
So, Rob Olson, Ed Greenwood, Geek Inc. magazine. Have a good day, guys.
They were once known as angels from the sky of heaven.